regardless of the policy action, is the bull market over?
It's a good question. It depends how you define it. Are we going to have, traditionally when we talk about the bull market, we talk about a secular bull. Are we seeing a cyclical downturn in a secular bull, or are we seeing something much more secular? And again, one of the things that we've talked about before, and we were showing this to people in January, is the household equity exposure is pretty high. Historically, that's not been a great signal for long extended bull markets. So I would suggest that that potentially says it's over, but there's more to it. Economic downturns are normal; they occur. The question is, this one might be a bit different because, as I said earlier as well, I've been on Wall Street for over 30 years. I've never been told I can't travel anywhere.
Yeah, and then on the other side of things, is there enough urgency? We had the Treasury Secretary saying that he's hosting a G7 call with the G7 members on coronavirus, but we're talking about incremental moves, a big increase of lending to small companies, but no details. Maybe $200 billion of liquidity by tax payment delays. Again, no details. We're learning that House Democrats are planning to vote Thursday. That's just House Democrats, and everybody is on recess next week. Is it any wonder that the Dow is down 1,000 points and the S&P 500 is down, more than 3% and declining, Tobias?
Well, I would almost argue that yesterday's rally seemed to be more of a relief rally than something fundamentally had changed. And we saw that last week as well. We saw big drops and then big bounce backs as people, again, were trying to pick up what they perceived as bargains. I'm not sure that that is the kind of fundamental, if you like, struts of support that we need. And, it does take time for these things to happen. How comfortable are Democrats out there trying to vote for things that might make the economy better when there's an election coming up and they're kind of intent on trying to remove Donald Trump from the White House? So you have got all these kind of things in the mix that creates this lack of certainty that Wall Street would love to have.
So if this doesn't get resolved in some way in terms of a fiscal stimulus, and if we start getting more numbers, which we're definitely going to do, Tobias, if we get more events cancelled, if we get more, quarantine areas and so on, does that suggest that the market is only getting started with the sell-off?
Well, I don't think it's getting started. I would say that there's probably more downside risk, because then you start saying, okay, I took $10 out of our estimate to 164.25. If we're going to a recession, I could take out another 25.30, because typical downturns are 20-25% earnings declines. And you have a recession, markets go down, call it the same, maybe 25%, we're already down 15. So it's not the start anymore. We're maybe 60% of the way through. And we said if recession is the outcome, then you're talking somewhere in the 2400s on the S&P.